A white horse got stuck in a swamp. A man saw it and rushed to help. However, the ground along the shore was too slippery, and his rescue attempt failed. Turning around, he noticed the water wheel behind him and had an idea. He tied one end of a rope to the wheel and used his own weight to turn it. With this, he finally managed to pull the white horse out of the swamp. The horse, moved by the man's efforts, shed a tear of gratitude. The man untied the rope around its neck, and the horse stood up, glowing brightly in thanks. It then galloped off into the distance and disappeared. The next morning, when the man woke up, he found two horses standing beside him and a talking donkey. The donkey told him that the white horse from the previous night was actually him, and that these two horses were a gift in return for saving his life. The horses had decided to stay with the man from then on. The man, however, remembered the wheat field that had been destroyed by the white horse the night before, and the furious farmer who owned it. He immediately realized that he could no longer stay there. Just then, the donkey squeezed through his legs and told him to hold on tight as it started running faster and faster. The donkey's speed was so fast that even a car wouldn't be able to catch up. The man suddenly remembered the two horses hadn't been taken with him. The donkey reassured him, "Don't worry, just cover your ears." Soon, the two horses appeared, summoned by the donkey. They traveled to a beautiful country, but since the man had no money, he went to the marketplace hoping to sell the two horses. When people saw the rare steeds, they started bidding against each other, driving the price higher and higher. The man was overjoyed. Just as the deal was about to be made, the king, who had been watching through a telescope, decided he wanted the horses for himself. The king's men came to take the horses, but the man thought they were going to pay. However, they simply walked off, leaving him behind without any payment. The man was heartbroken. Seeing this, the donkey couldn't stand it anymore and shouted, causing the horses to break through the city gates and gallop toward the man. The soldiers tried to chase them, but as the horses sped downhill, they lost control and the king fell face first into a pile of flour. The soldiers struggled to get the cart back upright, and the king, covered in flour, looked like Snow White. The sight made the man laugh out loud. Realizing that the man might be too tough to handle, the king decided to offer him a position to care for the horses. That night, as the king slept, he had a nightmare where the man decapitated him. The king woke up in a cold sweat. To save face, he decided to have the man executed. His ministers came up with an idea. They told the king about a legendary fire phoenix in the desert that was causing havoc by burning villages and stealing food. The king ordered the man to go kill the creature, for it was his royal command, and disobedience meant death. The man, with no choice, packed his things and mounted the donkey, heading south toward the desert. Fortunately, the donkey was wise and well-traveled. As they passed through a forest, they came across the phoenix's favorite food, nuts. The man collected them and continued his journey until they reached the desert. That night, he coated the nuts with sleeping powder and scattered them on the ground, waiting for 10 minutes. Suddenly, a red glow appeared in the sand, and before he knew it, the fire phoenix burst from the earth, soaring into the sky. When it landed, it looked around, and seeing no one, it picked up a nut and tossed it into the air, catching it with its beak and swallowing it with great satisfaction. After a while, the sleeping powder began to take effect. The phoenix wobbled and staggered before collapsing unconscious on the ground. The phoenix was trapped in a heavy iron net by Avanti. As it struggled, a single scalding tear fell from its eye, begging the human to spare its life. Avanti had planned to capture the phoenix and present it to the king, but when he saw the creature crying, his heart softened with compassion. He loosened the tight iron net and set it free. The fire phoenix, reborn in freedom, nodded gratefully at Avanti. Then it spread its wings and shot straight up into the sky. To repay Avanti for saving its life, the phoenix left behind one of its feathers, so Avanti could take it back to the king as proof. However, the king accused Avanti of failing his mission, and had him arrested. To prove he had truly captured the phoenix, Avanti presented the feather. But to everyone's surprise, the feather had lost all its glow. It looked no different from an ordinary chicken feather. The king believed Avanti was mocking him, and ordered his execution. Just as the soldiers were about to carry out the sentence, the feather suddenly began to shine. Moments later, the sky turned a blazing red. The phoenix had foreseen Avanti's danger, and rushed back from afar. It landed atop the highest point in the town, filling the entire place with its warm, radiant flames. Only then did the townspeople realize that Avanti had been telling the truth. They hailed him as a hero. With no choice, the king released Avanti. Though deep down, he was already seething with hatred, eager to get rid of him, the king devised another scheme. Under the pretense of marriage, he ordered Avanti to climb to the summit of the snowy mountains, wake a sleeping princess, and bring her back. The journey was extremely dangerous, and no one had ever successfully reached the mountain's peak. The king was certain Avanti would never survive. What he didn't know was that Avanti had an extraordinary helper, a small but miraculous donkey. Before long, they reached the top of the snow-covered mountain. Facing the massive frozen gate, the fiery feather burst into flames once again, and plunged straight into the ice. In the next instant, the thick ice door melted into rushing water. The short-legged donkey was swept away, frozen in place and left hanging at the edge of a cliff. While Avanti's legs were trapped in ice, Avanti abandoned his shoes, and carefully made his way into the cave. There, he finally saw the legendary sleeping princess. With the power of the flaming feather, the princess was awakened. But when she learned that the king was an old man, she immediately refused the marriage. Only a warrior or a prince, she said, was worthy of her hand. To force Avanti to give up, the princess leapt off the cliff without hesitation. Avanti was stunned, and jumped after her. Fortunately, the little donkey appeared just in time, saving them both from certain death. Not long afterward, Avanti safely escorted the princess back to the royal palace, yet she refused to marry the king again, this time claiming he lacked the ring of the heart of the ocean. When the king learned that the ring was in the possession of a whale, he immediately summoned Avanti. Once again, an impossible task fell onto his shoulders. The next day, Avanti rode his donkey across the vast open sea, searching for signs of the whale. Suddenly, a flock of seagulls crashed into him midair, knocking him straight into the ocean. As Avanti dove down into the depths, he was shocked to discover several enormous iron chains, binding something massive beneath the sea.